Welcome to Lou's True Crime. My name is Lou, and today we're diving into one of the most audacious bank heists in history. Forget high-tech gadgets and Hollywood-style vault explosions. This story is about how one single phone call, some fake documents, and a whole lot of nerve led to the theft of $242 million from a Brazilian bank. It's a tale that proves the pen, or in this case, a well-placed phone call, can be mightier than any weapon. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of this incredible story, if you're a fan of true crime, mysteries, and unbelievable tales, you've come to the right place. Please take a moment to hit that like button, share this video with a friend who loves a good heist story, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of our future investigations. We have a huge library of cases just like this one, so be sure to check out the rest of the channel after this video. Now, let's get back to the crime of the century. Our story takes place in Brazil, a country known for its vibrant culture, beautiful landscapes, and unfortunately, a history of spectacular bank robberies. But this one was different. It didn't happen in the dead of night. It happened in broad daylight, right under the noses of bank employees, security guards, and the entire financial system. The mastermind behind this operation wasn't a seasoned gangster or a cat burglar. He was a man who understood one simple truth. The biggest weakness in any security system is human trust. The target was a major Brazilian bank, a pillar of the nation's economy. The plan was deceptively simple. The criminals created a completely fake, but incredibly convincing, set of documents for a non-existent public works project. We're talking official-looking letterheads, forged signatures from government officials, and detailed project proposals that looked entirely legitimate. They created a paper trail for a phantom project that required a massive capital transfer. They were essentially building a castle in the air, but they made the paperwork so solid that no one questioned it. With their portfolio of fake documents ready, the next step was to find a point of entry. They didn't need to break down a door, they just needed to talk their way in. The leader of the group, posing as a representative for this massive construction consortium, made a phone call. Not to a teller, not to a low-level employee, but directly to a high-ranking manager at the bank's headquarters. He was charming, confident, and professional. He spoke the language of high finance, dropping names and project details that he had meticulously fabricated. He explained that his company had been awarded a massive government contract and needed to transfer a significant sum of money, $242 million, from a government account to their corporate account to begin the project. He presented it as a routine, albeit large, transaction. He faxed over the authorization letters, the project outlines, and the signed approvals, all of which were masterpieces of forgery. The bank manager, seeing what appeared to be legitimate documents from a government ministry, saw no reason to be suspicious. In the world of corporate banking, multi-million-dollar transfers happen. This one was just on the larger side. The manager, convinced by the caller's professionalism and the seemingly authentic paperwork, initiated the transfer process. He followed the bank's internal procedures, but the procedures themselves were designed to verify documents, not to question the existence of the entire project they represented. The system was designed to catch a typo, not a grand illusion. Each document was cross-referenced with another fake document in the pile, creating a closed loop of false verification. Over the next few hours, the transfer was processed. $242 million were moved from a government treasury account into a newly created corporate account controlled by the fraudsters. The money was in their hands. The first part of the plan had worked flawlessly, but getting the money is only half the battle. The other half is getting away with it. They knew they only had a small window of time before someone, somewhere, would notice that $250 million had vanished. The moment the transfer was confirmed, the second phase of the operation began. The money couldn't just sit in that corporate account. It had to be laundered, and fast. The group immediately began wiring the funds to dozens of other accounts in different banks across Brazil and internationally. They sliced the massive sum into smaller, less conspicuous amounts. A few million here, a few million there. Each transaction was designed to make the money trail harder and harder to follow. They were creating a complex web of transfers, a financial maze designed to confuse and delay investigators. For a few days, it was quiet. The bank went about its business, unaware of the financial black hole that had just opened up in its balance sheets. The government ministry, whose funds had been stolen, hadn't yet reconciled its accounts. The criminals were busy cashing out, buying luxury cars, real estate, and living the high life. They believed they had pulled off the perfect crime. But you can't hide a $242 million gap for long. The discrepancy was eventually discovered during a routine audit. Panic erupted. How could such a colossal sum of money just disappear? The bank launched an internal investigation, and the trail quickly led back to the massive transfer. They contacted the government ministry to confirm the public works project, only to be met with confusion. There was no project. There was no consortium. The signatures were fake. It was all a lie. The alarm was sounded, and one of the largest financial manhunts in Brazilian history began. The federal police were called in, and the case became a national sensation. Investigators were stunned. They had seen armored car ambushes and tunnel heists, but they had never seen a theft of this magnitude executed with nothing but paper and a phone call. They started the painstaking process of unraveling the web of bank transfers. The police worked backwards, tracing the money from the shell accounts back to the initial corporate account. They identified the individuals who had opened the accounts and began making arrests. One by one, the members of the gang were apprehended. The mastermind, the smooth-talking man who made the phone call, was eventually captured. But here's the most frustrating part of the story. While the police were successful in arresting the criminals, recovering the money was a different story. Of the $242 million stolen, authorities were only able to recover a fraction of it. The rest had vanished, laundered through a complex international network of shell companies and offshore accounts, likely spent on untraceable luxury goods or hidden away in countries with lax banking laws. The criminals were caught, but the vast majority of the loot was gone forever. The bank had to absorb the massive loss, a devastating blow that sent shockwaves through the Brazilian financial sector. The case served as a brutal wake-up call for banks and financial institutions worldwide. It exposed a critical vulnerability: the human element. All the firewalls, encryption, and physical security in the world meant nothing when a trusted employee could be deceived by a convincing con artist. In the aftermath, banks implemented much stricter protocols for verifying large transfers. The trust but verify mantra was replaced with never trust, always verify. New procedures required multi-person approvals and direct, in-person or video call confirmation with known contacts for any transaction over a certain threshold. This story is a powerful reminder that the biggest threats don't always come from a stick of dynamite, but from a silver tongue. It's a masterclass in social engineering, showing how easily people can be manipulated when the right psychological buttons are pushed. The criminals didn't hack a computer, they hacked a person. And in doing so, they walked away with nearly $250 million, pulling off one of the most incredible heists the world has ever seen. And that is the unbelievable true story of how one phone call stole $242 million. It's a testament to the fact that sometimes the simplest plans are the most effective. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this case as fascinating as I did. If you did, don't forget to explore the rest of Lou's True Crime for more incredible stories. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. We'll see you in the next investigation.